Welcome to Nugget 68 with Steve Groman. Well, we're back to the Trona Pinnacles. Well, actually, we just got started in the last nugget, and like the Mono Lake, there's just so much here. We can't fit it all into one nugget, so we're continuing on. And we were talking about Searles Lake and how it's known for the abundance of rare elements and evaporate minerals such as trona, hanksite, and halite formed within its sediments. This article from NASA Earth Observatory says evaporates are minerals that are left behind when salt water evaporates. Why would there be salt water there?
Right. According to evolution, that makes no sense, does it?
Why would there be salt water trapped
But
between mountains in the middle of California
when the mountains
and Nevada?
arose, the valleys sink down, the mineral vents, the salt vents and such would have busted open, and that's the reason they are. And in that whole area, that from all around Death Valley and all around Lone Pine, and there are enormous amounts of acreage, I guess we could say, of various mineral mining companies. We've actually seen and been to and toured and driven around and through several of these various mining companies are mining out minerals of all kinds out in that western portion of the country, whether it's California or all the way to Utah. And
they're just all over out west.
They're all over.
This satellite image that we're showing in this article, it says, this astronaut photograph depicts the Searles Lake playa, bound by the Argus and Slate Mountains. The width of the playa is approximately 10 kilometers. It says that this photograph was acquired June 27, 2005 with a Kodak 760C digital camera with 180 millimeter lens, and is provided by the ISS Crew Earth Observations Experiment and the Image Science and Analysis Group, Johnson Space Center. We've been to Johnson Space Center.
Yes, we have.
The International Space Station program supports the laboratory to help astronauts take pictures of Earth that will be the greatest value to scientists and the public, and to make those images freely available on the internet.
And where's that article?
This is from NASA.
Oh.
Earth Observatory. I wonder how high up they were just to take this image.
They would have been in low Earth orbit.
All right, now moving on to the main article in the Ridgecrest Area Visitor's Guide about Trona Pinnacles, the focus of this. The Trona Pinnacles are one of the most unique geological features in the California Desert Conservation Area. This unusual landscape consists of more than 500 tufa spires, some as high as 140 feet, rising from the bed of the Searles Dry Lake Basin. The pinnacles vary in size and shape from short and squat to tall and thin, and are composed primarily of calcium carbonate, tufa. These spires are spread over an area roughly 3 miles wide and 4.5 miles long. And this is a National Natural Landmark, part of the Department of the Interior, and it's managed by the BLM, the Bureau of Land Management, as an area of critical environmental concerns in order to preserve their unique scenic values. That's true. These are amazing, and they do need to be protected. Yeah, and they're just out in the open. Somebody could mess with them and mess them up, but fortunately there's not.
There's nothing wrong with protecting our resources and protecting our country and protecting rare things within the country out there, and as far as geology is concerned, but oftentimes they push it a little bit too far.
We talked about in the previous nugget about how old they were saying Searles Lake was, but in this one, I think they're saying a little bit different time frame. They're saying these amazing tufa calcium carbonate rock formations developed between 10,000 and 100,000 years ago when Searles Lake formed a link in a chain of interconnected lakes. So the other one I think is at 10,000, 75,000. This is going to 100,000. Give or take, let's just throw a few 5,000s here or there, 25,000s. Their time frames are just
I'm sure
if
we looked even harder, we could find even more varied time frames. That's what they do with everything.
This lake system originated at the Owens Valley and flowed in a downward stair-step fashion to China and Searles Lake. At peak periods, Searles Lake reached a depth of 640 feet and overflowed into Panamint Valley and Death Valley. During this wetter climactic age, the lake system received regular rainfall and runoff from the retreating glaciers of the Sierra Nevada mountains. The shoreline of this ancient lake is still visible today as horizontal banding on hillsides northwest of the Pinnacles. How do you explain that, Steve?
Well, once again, there is abundant evidence for the flood. The mechanism of the flood is what accounts for that kind of thing. Because they see evidence that there was a lake, it doesn't mean it was tens of thousands of years ago. If it was in a previous time frame, no matter when it was, even if several hundred years ago that we have no record of, then it could be misinterpreted as tens of thousands of years ago. The problem is the biblical time frame does not allow for that. However, at the time of the flood, we would have had ice caps, we would have had rain, we would have had pools of water, gigantic pools that would be the size of lakes. As the flood is retreating and the mountains rose, the valleys sink down, the washout is taking place, and the land has gone through this enormous amount of upheaval and tumultuous time, it is going to settle out at some point. But it was only about 4,400 years ago, around the time of the flood.
Well, it's hard to believe, but we've already hit the 5-minute mark on this, and we just really have too much more information to not stop here and save the rest of this for even another nugget. So we will come back with Nugget 69 and the completion of the Trona Pinnacles. Thank you. If you haven't heard, we have a new ministry project. It's called the Psalm 33:12 series. Blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord. Help support this ministry and get America great again with these motivational t-shirts. Use them as a conversation piece and a great witnessing tool. Call or text 603-616-8907 to order, or order on our website, https://creationseminar.net/onlineorders.htm. Simply identify the shirt design, your size, what color shirt, and ink color that you prefer. The shirts are $20 each, plus shipping. Thank you.